Hello and welcome to Future Simple Friday Live episode 16. I'm joined today by Alison from Lilypads, and obviously you have me, Cinda Bray, founder of Future Simple. So I'm going to hand over to Alison, tell you a bit more about her and Lilypads and what Lilypads do, and we'll take it from there.
Hi, I'm Alison. At Lilypads, we're aiming to keep young girls in education, and this is generally through reusable sandwich products, which we've designed one in the UK and working in Kenya as well, and we deliver mental health education. And so the idea started in Kenya, and it was all about creating an affordable product that people could buy. And then when we brought it back here and we started doing the product design, realising there were a lot of young consumers in the British market that were looking for a more comfortable and environmentally friendly product, something that didn't really exist on the market. And so we spent about 6 months in design and now have a really cool pad coming on in April.
Awesome. So you just tend to talk about periods all the time then? Just
pretty
putting it out
much,
there.
yeah.
Just go with it. This might be a trend of the day. Yeah. So you just.
It's kind of weird because I start every conversation with like, oh yeah, we're in menstrual health, and some people either hear me and understand or go, huh? And you're like, period products, that kind of jazz. How cool are you now?
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah. Takes guts, I imagine. But yeah. So how did you? So you started off by, you were in Kenya. Yeah. And so what spurred on the idea? How did you get to this?
I was doing academic research out there. We're looking at sexual health and how people, that's my other thing I'm always talking about, how people learn information. And generally, if I want to give you something that's might be quite difficult for you to absorb, peer-to-peer is much better than in front of a teacher. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at, is it that dynamic? The area I was in had a really high pregnancy rate and a really high HIV rate. And what they couldn't work out is why all this education wasn't bringing these rates down. And so I went in, taught a lesson, and said during the lesson to a group of 14-year-old girls, you've had a couple of girls expelled from this school because they were pregnant. All these girls have left distraught because that's the end of their education. What's going on? Let's have a look at why they might be making these decisions, and then what the consequences are and how we could start to mitigate them. And one of the girls straight out came to me with, because we can't afford sanitary products. I had to stand there and go, sorry, what do you mean? She went, well, when we can't afford them, when we started school, most of them have no idea what is happening, and turn to older peoples and say, I've got this thing, what do I do? And the older peoples will say, there's men in the village, and I'll match you with these men, and if you go and spend the night with them and have sex with them, they'll give you sanitary products, and then you can stay in school. And stood there with a piece of chalk in hand. I needed to give them a practical, okay, this is how we've got a high pregnancy problem, here are solutions. And I thought, there is nothing I can say to you right now. You know the risks, and I have no solution to this problem because nobody thought that this was what was causing
this
the
was
rate.
The problem, yeah. What did you do at that point? Like, what did you say?
I think I stood there for about 30 seconds, just looking at them as they all looked back at me and went, okay, so that is one reason. What could be other reasons? And then we brainstormed the more usual ones that you get in a British classroom, because it might feel good, or because he says he really wants to and he likes me and I don't know how else to do it, and obviously if he loves me we should, which is slightly easier to mitigate. And then we went through, okay, here's some of the risks, and I then went, okay, but if you're doing it out of necessity, there are protections that you can put in place. Advise using them. Here's how the conversation could go if you were trying to negotiate how to use a condom where you wanted to be. But to be honest, I'm going to go and talk to your headmaster right now, and we're going to have a frank chat about he needs to do more to keep you in school, and this cannot be the solution. I went to the headmaster and he was like, what do you think I should do? Expel them at the age of 14? I'm like, no,
really not.
I started looking at solutions and thinking, this is mad. Our solution is to send out products, and it always is, to set up a great charity fundraiser, and that in one way is fantastic and it solves the problem today. And then I started looking at all these schools where the funding has disappeared and they've had 2 years of support and nothing else, and they're back where they were. Okay, they need an affordable product, and they need one that they have access to that's theirs at the end of the day, because they're the ones in that situation that have to deal with it. And so that's when we started designing a reusable, because not only are they the most affordable types of products, but it reduces waste. If you're, problem here as well, but if you're using a drop toilet or you don't have waste disposal, sanitary products, especially disposable forms, are just going to build up. If you've got a school of 1,000 girls, you've got a massive problem quite quickly. And so that was the other excitement for the school, was like, oh, you're going to stop this level of plastic that we don't know what to do with.
Yeah. You're like, yes. Well, actually, I was thinking of the girls, but if you're going to go down that route, totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Like, okay, we can also go baby steps in that direction.
Wow.
Blew your mind slightly for Friday morning.
Wow. That's crazy. And so you've come back and are now working on a product that you can sell in the UK that will help offset the cost of selling the same product in Kenya, so that they don't have to exchange sexual favours for sanitary products.
Pretty much. When we started, wanted the most sustainable thing. Everyone sort of said it was a localised problem, and the more that I spoke, the more that people in different NGO sectors from countries all around the world went, no, we know that happens too. I'm like, okay, we have to have the ability to grow and say every time someone says that problem, all right, we can expand to you.
Yeah.
And so then we went, if we can grow the UK, we can have this pot of funding, and then we can use it to grow. And so every time we go into a community, everything is run by the community. We teach all the basics of menstrual health, but their women deliver it, they sell the product, they get to design and tweak the products if it's needed. And then we know that it is sustainable because at the end of the day, they're still purchasing the products.
The ownership they've got,
We're just supplying the funding to go in and grow to a new area and to do product design and to do little bits of marketing. Nothing like what you're doing, beautiful bits of community. And the UK allows us to do that. Plus there was a problem here.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a nice way to solve the problem in both areas.
Yeah. It makes the problem here, though, seem very first world problem, doesn't it? I mean, it is a huge problem because it impacts the environment. I'm shortcutting because we've already had this conversation a few times. But the problem over here is that one that you touched upon, where it's plastic, crazy amounts of plastic, and we're all like, look, I've got my keep cup. We're all going to we're all going to reusable straws, all of these little things. But how much plastic did you say was in a sanitary pad yesterday?
60 grams, which is the equivalent to 11 disposable plastic bags in every one of your pads.
Yeah. Which is phenomenal. Like, that's crazy to think. And then how many of those you use?
I really want to start, like, go through and say, okay, so the average woman is using like 20 to 25 products, so let's carry out 11 plastic bags for each one and just to see the size.
Yeah.
Was that like passing that to someone and being like, yeah, that's the plastic that's in your, and not just the environmental, that is not good for your health. Can you imagine a situation where like you cut your leg and I wrap 11 plastic bags around it and tell you to keep it like that for a couple of days? I just think the doctors would go. Also that I was treating you and didn't just take you to A&E. By the by.
But yeah, that's insane. I mean, obviously we've all had the whole David Attenborough thing of the amount of plastic bags and all that kind of thing, but that much plastic in a sanitary product that you are using, a lot a month, and that's just mad. And then obviously you've got the whole this bizarre trend of people flushing them, which then causes issues.
Yep.
And not just issues of the toxins and things that get into the water stream, but literal blockages.
Floods into houses and rivers and into the sea.
And all from sanitary pads. Well, highly contributed.
Yeah, wet wipes, your tampons, other things that people chuck down the loo, your nappies, but they're slightly harder to flush, so people learn much faster that you shouldn't flush them.
Don't fair.
This amazes me, right? Because 50% of women flush their sanitary products and have admitted this in a government survey. And then I say it and everybody goes, but I don't. Well, somebody does. You just don't like saying it because by the time I've got to the question, you know that what answer I want you to say. And we need to go with a much more non-judgmental place and be like, oh, do you flush your sanitary products? I should start that as a conversation.
How do you say that in a non-judgmental fashion? Like, why would you do that? But I can sort of see it like maybe as an accident on the occasion, and then you're too lazy to fish it back out. But I'm going really into detail. This is going to be an awesome episode. Everyone listening and watching this week, you're just going to be like, I don't know if I wanted this much period chat, but hey, this is the world that we're in, so this is what we're talking about. And so you've created a reusable, which assumably would be like a reusable, not a reusable nappy because no one wants to wear a nappy, but you know, similar technology.
Yeah.
And you just wash it and use it again. And how long does it last? Is it like a...
I've been certified up to 500 washes, which is a useful figure to know on. About 5 years.
Okay.
Depends how you use it. If you're someone that chucks it through the tumble dryer, it's going to shorten its use time, but
fair enough.
Not by that much, to be honest. I've done a lot of testing of this one. And how you're washing it and that kind of stuff. But if you're following our instructions, yeah.
Wow.
About 5 years.
Wow.
And this is really exciting to me because I've been to the manufacturer and we're looking at all these different fabrics, and the one we've just gone with is 1.5 millimeters thick. So then I start being like, well, what is that? Like, average pansy liner, 3 millimeters. Average pad, like 5. I've never been so excited by a unit of measurement in my life. But
wow.
Within it, it's really cool fabric.
That is really cool. Cool.
So like you don't feel it, it's really comfortable.
It's just like pants.
Exactly.
Amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm slightly scared because in 6 weeks we're going to have the first batch through, and the first thing I'm going to want to do is take them into RBS where we work and like, can everyone just try it? Give me really honest feedback.
Right, ladies, I need a queue to the toilets.
Just waiting for everyone to like,
sorry, what? But you, we're probably alright. We'll just go, okay then.
From like, can you try new product grades?
Product trialing. Wow, that's so cool. So you're expecting your first batch in April.
Yep.
And then how long do you think it'll be once you're selling your first product or whatever method of them going to market before you can make the impact in Kenya?
We're already making the impact in Kenya. As
you did it the other way around.
Yep.
Awesome.
We built the side in Kenya before going, do you know what would be a good solution too? And so we're working in 3 communities in Kenya. In every community there's about 10 women, 10, 12, 8, who are taught menstrual health. They go and teach it in schools. That was the idea. They also seem to teach it everywhere else. So we'll send me messages.
They're like you. They just talk about periods everywhere.
Oh, in the church group this morning. How did you get that in? But okay. As long as whoever was leading the group was happy with it.
Yeah, totally fine.
Why not? And so they have lots of period related chats. That also leads to them sending me questions that they don't have answers to, and have faith that I will Google them and find them the right answer. Generally a lot about pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And things that people ask. And a little part of me breaks my heart when I read some of them, and it sort of says, we've had this discussion about how long a pregnancy is. You said it was 9 months in all literature, but most women think it's 5 because it takes 4 months for baby to grow, and then you start to see a bump.
Right.
And depending on
so they don't necessarily consider themselves pregnant until the bump arrives.
And so then I'm sat there like Googling a whole load of pregnancy symptoms and then running it past everyone I know who's had a pregnancy recently and being like, okay, so what did you experience and what does this look like? And if we're sending it out, what questions could we say? Ask women who've had kids, did they have this? What did it look like for them? This was a period that they were pregnant. You just necessarily couldn't see the baby growing.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have learned a lot about things like that because of it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first few months was just sickness and horrible. So do you just think, and
but like that could have been food poisoning. You could have just eaten something bad.
You could have just eaten something, and I don't know what the landscape is there. Maybe you feel ill more often. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not saying this is everyone by any stretch of the imagination. We're working in a really rural community where they had this, and so it's just that lack of information. Mm-hmm. And so unless you're talking to a lot of people and a lot of pregnant women are kind of going, oh, we all felt that together. Yeah. There's a reason we're doing it. Your body is doing this. Yeah. You can just make up other stories that make total sense. And generally when they say to me, but this is what is happening because, fairness, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But actually, we've had a doctor check that you're having morning sickness because of this or that hormone's going on.
And they obviously don't have access to pregnancy tests, anything like that.
No. On my list of what, like, cool things we could start doing.
Right, there's so many things, right? Start small. Do you have to do that a lot? Do you have to go, right, take it back, start here?
There was...
So have you seen any, how long have you been doing it in Kenya now then?
Since last February.
Amazing.
Oh, it's going to be a year this month. I had not realised that. I'm going to throw a UK birthday party for all the team that came on the first trip to help.
Yes. Amazing. Wow. Congratulations.
I totally forgot that. That is embarrassing.
It's not. It's probably been the fastest year of your life. Yeah. And the slowest at times as well, because you'd just be tearing your hair out. But yeah, it's probably been the fastest year of your life. Wow. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Oh, that's really cute.
Awesome. So, I feel like we could probably just chat about this for
the
whole episode. No.
I
think it is just all about sharing other people's businesses, understanding the pressures that you go through. So, has there been any difficulties? What would you say are your main difficulties being able to do this? I would imagine there's been quite a few hurdles.
There has, in both sectors. In the Kenyan one, it's been the practical stuff, like, say, manufacturer, making sure we have a solid supply line. Everything is manufactured there, and the materials are sourced. They are now all sourced locally, and trying to make that all work. But the communities were amazingly receptive, and so that was one of the funniest parts about the product trials. I took across a product we designed here and went, try it, tell me what you think. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the drawing board. It's literally hand-stitched. I can change the design here, and we can keep trialing different things. And they all kind of went, but you've brought this, and normally people take stuff out and go, well, this works. I'm like, oh, I know it works, but if it doesn't work for you, let's change. Why not? And that was a really interesting hurdle when initially all the girls would go, no, it works really well, and then realise that I wouldn't go mad when they'd go, but we want it a little bit longer, and we want to wear it for 10 hours, and therefore it needs to be thicker. I'm like, sure, let's go.
That. Let's try that.
And now they will much more receptively go, can you do this? I'm like, yes, either I can find someone who can put that capability in place, or
we'll figure out a way.
Easy.
Yeah.
The UK side was the other way around. Everyone initially went, a reusable product. You want me to do what with it? And sitting there thinking, but the reason we stumbled across this is I'd made all of my friends trial the products we were sending out to Kenya initially. They were here. Feedback was faster.
Yeah.
And this was before we started trialing in Kenya. Everyone kept saying to me they're really comfortable. And I thought, oh, thanks. And then I'd go back and think, hang on, why really comfortable? My sewing skills are not that good. They should be really comfortable. They should function, definitely. But they're being manufactured out there by someone who can sew much better than I can. And then started asking questions and realising most people don't like their products, and they're uncomfortable and they itch and they chafe and they do all other weird stuff. And then it was like, okay, so now if we can get you to try the product and go, oh, it's really comfortable, you're in love. That jump from you want me to wash it to, oh my god, I can like run around with it and it doesn't do anything, has been a really big hurdle to kind of jump people over. And then I started just looking at other things and being like, Keep Cup had the same thing. Everyone's like, you want me to take it in and like wash it at home and then bring it back to... And then, oh, but look at the environmental impact that I'm having. Look at the amount of stores that give me 20p off because I brought my own cup. Beautiful. So that psychological stuff was quite a big hurdle.
Oh, very cool. And what would you say, would you have one highlight? Pick a highlight. You've probably got a few.
Yeah. There's always one, because it was the school in Kenya that we were going out to see. It was the first school where I'd uncovered the problem. And we went out and said to the school, what I want is a group of 25 girls, and we're going to run a serious discussion group around the product and what functionality they need. So in terms of how do they need to wash it, how do they need to dry it, let's build all this in from day one. The school knew who I was. I'd done a whole load of sexual health teaching over the summer. I'm like, yes, of course, come in, this will be great. And we arrived and they'd gone, I've made an assembly for you. And my head kind of went, you've done what? But okay, maybe this is just a language, a choice of word difference. And then sort of went, why 1,000 of your pupils sat in a beautiful assembly waiting to, she was like, because you've had a journey and they want you to know. And at that moment, the headmistress's moment, she was going, they're about to have half term, and this is when the most girls get pregnant, and we want you to go out and talk about why you're running this product trial. I was like,
fair enough.
That's fine.
Could you pre-warning, but yes.
I can change my lesson plan on the spot. This is fine. And doing that though, and going out and going, okay, actually, we're going to leave the product till afterwards. Let's talk about periods. You're all young ladies. Let's have this chat with a microphone, and getting them all to say things and stand up and ask questions, talk to their neighbour, create little bits of discussion about what their body did, and then all the stuff that's nice, that most people do feel a little bit more energetic on their period, or they do have other signs that are all related to the fact it's a menstrual cycle and not just a period. And seeing, this happened, or I had this moment where I ran out of a product and then I had to ask someone, and she had something and she was able to help, and then ran out of the product is a nicer way of saying what would have happened was run out of money, but okay, someone was there to support, and that sense of group that you get as a community was really sweet. And then I'd said to the headmistress that I still need a smaller group to chat through the product, and so she said to them, like, have I got any volunteers? And all of them went, I want to. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't product trial the size of this school, but the enthusiasm there, and the amount of them that came afterwards and went, you're going to come back with them. It was like, yes, I've built this business to solve the problem that you have.
So
I'm coming back.
I wasn't chosen.
I was like winning the lottery. We have a blog on our website about this, and slightly better written because I had a lot more time. It was like, we had something really cool I wanted them to try. I've never seen that level of enthusiasm over, would you try a sanitary product for me? And will you tell me honestly what you think of it, and all the other things that you want it to do and to have functionality too, because we can probably do it quite easily. So we can, one of the things they said is they all hand wash their clothes, hang them on a line. Everybody's school uniform looks identical, and lots of their stuff will go missing because somebody else doesn't have it and they need it.
It's the same,
Do you have that problem in school too?
No, I was just thinking that they're all the uniforms are the same, so it doesn't matter who has it.
I'm seeing your little one as you come home and you're like, this is not the jumper I sent you with.
Oh, that does actually happen, Labels, clothing name labels.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, well, do you not label at the moment? It was like, well, it's got our numbers stamped on all our big items, like our shirts and our skirts. We could stamp everything. There's nothing to stop us putting a number on. Like, you could write your name, draw a symbol, write any word under the sun, to be honest, as long as I say that, it's not slightly weird. or, it identifies you.
Yeah.
Go for it. And so we had a very creative session on what pens you could write in so that it would hold when you washed it. Small things, but exciting things. A lot more exciting than sticking on labels, I can assure you. Like name press, and they're like, why does it not stick through 50 washes?
Yes.
All my clothes were labelled at school. I don't miss those days.
No, not fun. Wow, that's so cool though. So did you go back and give them more product?
We're now setting up, or we have set up a group that sell into that school.
Amazing.
And that do all the teaching there and send us lots of little photos, because there's people that generally know who I am, and some of them I have met, and it's like, look, so and so, she's passed this exam, and I'll have her report card. I'm like, I'm so proud.
Oh wow.
But also, okay, I've now got like 50 report cards, and I'm proud of you all.
Oh, that's a very maternal thing, really, isn't it?
I've got lots of. It's working, and then when we get validation of somebody else going, this is a problem we have, and actually that does seem to be working. Can we grow it here?
Can we do it too?
And I never thought I would be saying this, but the amount of stuff that we learn in Kenya and then go, that works really well. How do we adapt that for the British setting? And so much of the time, everyone sort of goes, oh, you must be learning things and then transferring them. I'm like, we learn so much from both countries about best practice and what works and how people communicate. Because everyone is different, but both countries have such a great amount of knowledge
And that you can apply them both to the same product, so it's getting both boosts.
Yeah, and like all the education stuff of it worked really well to working with young people there and teaching them. And I was like, we could do that here. There's nothing to stop us. It's just generally you would transfer knowledge through a teacher or through a written material or on social media, but there's nothing to stop us teaching 18-year-olds. And then tried it and watched as the 18-year-olds got this massive boost because they got this knowledge and they were allowed to help other people. And they all remember how stressed they were age 12, 13. Yeah. They were almost the best people to go, do you know what, I remember it was stressful. I'm not going to tell you that it wasn't. I'm going to tell you that there's so many other things I wish I knew at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That was something that
we'd learned from Kenya and brought back.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's move on to the cards. Just to keep some normality, like I say, we could just keep talking, but we will answer a few of these. So, usual stack of cards. Shovel up some questions, use them as discussion points around marketing, strategy, business, mental health, our usual things that we like to talk about. I will keep an eye on the time and we'll ask questions for about 15 minutes today because we've already had quite a good chat. And we don't, no, that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. I'm just conscious of not taking up too much of your time. I'm like usually going, right, it'll take about half an hour, 40 minutes, then I'm like, okay, an hour and a half later. So good. Okay, so I'll let you pick the first one.
Am I just picking this up?
I'm just going to read it out.
How mindful have you been this week?
Okay.
Am I asking you?
Just discuss. So mindful in the sense of mental health mindfulness. I think taking a moment to just be in the moment instead of frantically always running from one thing to the next. I've been rubbish this week, I have to admit. I don't think I've had one mindful moment. Oh no, maybe I did. Actually, one day after I had I'd gone from meeting to meeting to meeting, and then I'd come out of meeting, and someone had gone, oh, have you got 5 minutes? I just want to talk to you. And I just went, right, I'm just going to go for a walk for 5 minutes. I'm just going to put my headphones on, put a song on, walk to the end of the building and back, because I just need to, after meeting. And then I'll be all right to talk to you, because otherwise my head's going to still be in the other situation, and I need to just...
That's good you were willing to go. Give me 5.
Give me 5, and then I'll give you 5. But yeah, but on the whole, I've been rubbish. I was trying to do this thing where I literally tried to do like 10 minutes, whether it was yoga, stretching, or literally just sitting and being, and I've totally failed at that this month. I can still try.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there is still time in the month.
There is definitely time.
6, so
oh, yeah, so January was rubbish. February's continued. So it's all good.
I have no strategy, I'm just as bad. Like, in some ways, I was trying to write like a little journal at the end of each day, and then realised the end of each day to me is generally running into something else. And so finding 10 minutes is really hard, because it's like, oh, but then I'm not going to finish this task.
Yeah.
Finish this task before I go home. So, okay, so we're going to do it at the start of the day. And that has worked. And I'm like, okay, I walk into the office, then I'm going to take 5. And then we're going to go. I have now accepted that it's like I walk into the office, chat to everyone, get a cup of tea, sit down, then take 5.
Well, yeah, there is a lot of that. You have to do the chat and the hi and the how you doing.
Which is great. I love everyone. It's that moment and we're like,
it's when sometimes, I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong, it's when sometimes you like, I really just get on with something, and then you're like, actually, right, it's been 45 minutes since I've got into the office, and I'm still just talking to everybody, and then I'm like, right, I must sit down and actually do my work. But yeah, it is good to have that from, when you're working on your own, and then you go in and you've got this group of people that you can be like, hi.
Yeah, like friends, made friends.
I know. And they get it.
That's the nicest part about a co-working space, which I hadn't anticipated before I walked in, was they get it. There are so many things that you don't know what to do, but somebody else does. And you could take 10 minutes to go and find it, or you could just ask the question and everyone goes,
try like, looking here.
Yeah. Trying to phone out using the landline the other day, and I was sat listening to the dial tone, who do I need to go and ask to say that my phone's broken? And it's like, dial 9. Or do that. Super, thanks. Exactly. A lot of it is more practical business support, but sometimes you just need someone who understands
just
the
like
system.
why is my screen not dead? Like I often find that the extension cables between the desks, the extension leads that you put all the plugs in, they've got their own on-off switch. It's like a flip switch, and I didn't realise this. And one day I plugged everything back in, and I was like, screen's not working. My laptop's on, but it's not charging, and my screen's not working. What has gone wrong here? Then I was checking. I was like, everything's plugged in, but I didn't realise it's like a trip switch type one. It's not. It's like a trip switch lever looking one. So I was thinking I shouldn't touch that. And then I was like, what is that? And then I tried it, and then everything magically worked. And you know, when you're like, I've just spent half an hour doing this, and if I'd have said, does anyone know why these sockets aren't working? Someone probably had already had this problem.
I'd already spent half an hour and could have told us, like,
Yeah, never mind. Most interesting fact.
Oh, I've already used mine.
Yeah, your interesting fact. I think that is a good...
That is my solid interesting fact of all time tonight.
Top fact. There was a good one that I learnt yesterday, a scary one. Recent research about investment. I was at an investment event with Scottish Enterprise yesterday, and probably a lot of people have already seen this because it was in the news last week, but out for every £1 that is invested in the UK, only 1 pence goes to women-founded companies.
Oh, that is shocking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, have nothing. Yeah. Wow.
What are the practical things you do with that? And then,
I mean, admittedly, there was research a couple of years ago that actually on the books there was only 2% of the companies were founded by women. So if you think about it in that way, then it's almost a correlation that if only 2% of the businesses are women, 1 penny, that almost it's still not quite right, because maybe it should be like 2 pence, but now it's definitely getting more. And the recent statistics from Women's Enterprise Scotland is that there's actually like 50%. We're getting to more like 50% of women founding companies in Scotland, which is fantastic, but we're still at 1 penny in investment. So we need to get on it. My little, I won't rant, but yeah, that was like an eye-opening fact.
I think I'm now going to say that every time we're at a social setting, with people looking at investment or just like out for the pub as drink as young entrepreneurs, I'm going to start going, are you aware of that? Yeah. And you're aware of like all the other little things around that kind of indicates that you should be aware of. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of the like going out to drinks with the investors, and you're sat there at 9 at night going, oh, I've kind of gone from this was friendly to, I'm not really sure what this environment is, and this is a weird one to have to decipher. Are you helping out? Mm-hmm. And what are we doing to make sure we're banging on the doors and saying, this is just as good?
Yeah, because that's what I said. I asked the question. I went, what are we doing wrong? Is there a trend? I mean, I'm not saying we, as in the people in this room, but is there a trend of what are women doing something different? And the generic consensus, he was very careful to say generic, kind of not picking on people, but is that women just tend to be more risk averse, and that we're almost giving them reasons not to invest in our businesses, because we're going, this is an amazing idea, but this and this could happen. And while we're thinking of all of these things, we don't necessarily need to be presenting them. And while we should know them, and we should be thinking of ways to mitigate them, and we should have solutions, and we should be ready to go, if I think this business is so awesome, I am prepared to take that risk on, so you should be prepared to take that risk on. And that it's a partnership. When you're going into investment, it should be seen as a partnership and a marriage, and it's not oh my god, you're amazing, you're going to give me money, let's not, like, you need something back. You need to be able to work with them.
I'm giving you equity. We are exactly in this together.
So yeah, that was quite an eye-opening session yesterday.
I've had a thought.
Go on.
Well, we're both on an accelerator program together. Yes. Most people on that are looking for investment. Mm-hmm. This is a problem that faces us. Mm-hmm. How do we present this as a opportunity to give support? We go in and say we're going to run a workshop on risk awareness in the sense of, do you know how you're presenting these risks? Let's get some of the men in the room who've got investment, and I'm really hoping there's some women in there too. How did you present these risks? Here are the ones I know. What would
let's say,
what would you have said?
I suppose that's, I mean, they do power panel, don't they, and break things down, but maybe we do almost like a peer-to-peer thing where we say, okay, you've got investment, this is how this is being portrayed, and say, how are we tackling these risks? How are we making this more investable?
Yeah.
Because the idea is still amazing. The business idea could still be as valid. It's just that the way that you are wording it isn't necessarily...
Yeah, you're not hiding the risks in any way, shape or form.
You just need to be showing that you are comfortable in them, and that you're comfortable to take them, and they should be comfortable to take them.
And as you said just before you started with camera, that you know they exist and you're already thinking of the solutions to ensure they've mitigated them. These aren't risks that you thought of 5 minutes before you walked in and you were like, oh, this could end my business. You know them. You're actively taking those steps to ensure that they're minimised or removed.
Yeah.
And that's what you were sort of saying a lot of male people looking for investors will say.
Yeah.
And so let's change that dynamic. Let's start saying it like that too.
Yeah, totally. Let's get on that.
They're gonna laugh.
And now, this is on record, and we're gonna have to do it.
True. Send it to Stuart.
Yeah. Totally. We'll tag him in it at the end. Stuart, we've got an action for you.
I don't think he'll like us, but I think it'll be a great thing because we do. We know it's a problem.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's going to take us a lot of time to change the minds of the people giving the investment. They should be aware of this.
Yeah.
What might be faster is to tackle it here and know at the end of the day we're tackling it up there too.
Definitely. Yeah.
So we're off.
Awesome. Plans. I'll let you take the next one.
Underrated marketing activity.
So this is me being a total marketing person.
Sorry, I thought I heard you.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Are you?
Sorry, we're on camera. I'll come say hi in a minute.
It's okay. We're at the IOD today, and we're just in the kind of co-working space where the coffee machine is. So someone was just coming in to say hi, and now the coffee machine's on. But hopefully the microphone means you can hear us, not just the coffee machine.
Does that mean I get to skip the question?
That's cheating.
Underrated marketing.
Yes.
I mean, this is partly because I've been thinking of really cool ways to do our marketing, and social media is the one that everyone recommends to talk to a young audience. I'm like, oh, but I want to do something really fun and that kind of. So I'm like, plastic bag full of plastic bags, kind of. What could we make creative? And therefore, it's sitting there watching everybody else's and being like, oh, what do other people do that I think is really cool?
You know what would be really cool?
Oh,
okay, I've now got an idea.
Pause the video and focus on this.
We make a giant sanitary towel out of the amount of plastic bags it takes that is in a sanitary towel.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah. And then, like, we can literally go, so this is your sanitary towel, this is how much plastic is in your sanitary towel. And it is, like, shaped like a sanitary towel.
You could have, like, this much is plastic, this much is all the other components on the work somehow, and build it.
Yeah.
Because
out of the
we could start with what do you think is in it.
Yes.
And then go, this is what is in it. So yeah, I think practical marketing is totally underrated, or like experiential, or whatever you want to call it, because it's so much fun. It's like Keep Cup and Lush, I really hope that's the two firms, do not quote me on that, did a really cool one where they, maybe it wasn't Lush, that was a total line, Keep Cup and somebody, they set up a stall in London giving out free coffee, but only free coffee if you came with a reusable cup. I was like, oh, how great is that as an incentive to say, bring your reusable cup? It is not that difficult.
Yeah.
And you get a free cup of coffee, and if you're in London on the way to work, and in fairness in Edinburgh, I think it would be fair too.
Yeah. I'd totally go for that.
That was great. And that was wee bit marketing for them. But just beautifully active and
anything it is kind of experiential. How can you get people involved in it to understand it, and then they're on board?
It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Should maybe do some. Yeah, I'm going off on marketing tactics for you now, right? Let's move on to the next question. We can continue.
Coming back in a couple of weeks, you can see what jazz and stuff.
I'm going to skip that one because that's another marketing one. Okay, challenge currently working to overcome.
Ooh.
Challenge currently working to overcome.
I've got a very personal one.
Go on then.
Trying to get some kind of work-life balance. So I've now stuck a wee poster on my wall of like my 5 personal goals, and on the wall behind it is like my 5 business ones. And one of my personal ones is to get my working week down to 60 hours a week. And
Down to 60 hours a week.
yeah. So we're not going to go to that. We're just going to accept that, but it's the fact.
Down to 60 hours a week. Okay.
And then afterwards, there's like a nice wee Chinese wall between that and like my evening life. So if you email me at 9 at night, you now should not get a response, and I should not see it until I've started the working morning the next day. And that is the challenge I'm currently working to overcome, because it turns out emails are strangely addictive.
They are.
And I just want to know. And
Yeah.
I've told myself I'm not allowed to reply, but I just want to know. This is not helping.
I've discovered that the airplane mode is really quite handy. To just go, actually, no. I first discovered it, this is really lame, I first discovered how airplane mode was helpful. Obviously, you use it on a plane. But it was because I was playing those really crappy little games, you know, the really addictive ones that you're just like making a pie or whatever it is, on the tram on the way in, but they've got the most irritating adverts. And I know as someone in marketing, complaining about adverts is ironic, but they are the most irritating adverts. And if you're listening to music and then an advert comes on 20 times louder, it's really annoying. But you can then, if you put airplane mode on, you can play the game without the adverts, without having to pay. Top tip. But then you don't get any emails, you don't get anything, and then you get to work and you're not already stressing about the things that people have already emailed you about. Yeah.
That's quite neat.
So it was quite good, actually. It was a stumbled upon one. So now I'm trying to make sure that if I go, because I'm terrible at, like, as I've discussed many times on here, like Harry's first proper sentence to me was "Mummy, phone down," because I'm usually doing something. He watches a lot of kids' TV, you know. It's not that interesting for me. And I know it's a terrible excuse, yeah, so I'm trying to put airplane mode on so that if I take photos of him or if he's looking at something, that's absolutely fine, but I'm not getting distracted by the LinkedIn notifications, the email notifications and all this kind of thing, because once you see that notifications come up on the top of the screen, you want to know what it says.
It's so hard to...
You really want to know what it says. And then when you've got your clever watch that links to your clever phone and it buzzes on your arm and everything, and you're just like, I can't leave these emails. But airplane mode turns that off too, so, you know.
It's trying to separate people really gets me. I'm like, if you're on my Facebook Messenger, you're one of my friends, we're talking about meeting up or chatting. If you're someone messaging me about work, you're on what? Oh no, we lost them.
We lost you there, so because I haven't put this on airplane mode, ironically, and someone just tried to call me. Because we're really classy and film everything on the iPhone. So you're trying to you try to keep that wall of where your friends are and where your work is.
Because then it's like, well, I can deal with my work during work hours, I can deal with everybody else after hours. They probably shouldn't cross over. Mm-hmm. But everyone wants to do what's easiest for them, and I'm aware that I'm saying that because that's what's easiest for me as well. And watch, they're like, oh, but it's easy for me to communicate with you on Facebook Messenger. Like, I know that, but that means you message me at 10 at night about something that you want a response on. You can see I'm online because I'm talking to someone.
But this isn't my work time. Yeah,
this isn't my work. It's not an emergency. If it was, I would be there in a heartbeat, but it's not. I can wait till tomorrow morning. Ooh, there's quite a bit of resistance changing you one way because I'm trying to do...
Yeah.
If you were trying to change me, I'd be like, oh, what's for me?
Yeah. And it's not, we shouldn't be working all hours.
Yeah. I have found telling people why I'm trying to change them onto a different platform.
Yeah.
And getting their buy-in, and then when they've done it, responding on the platform, I want them to message me on, being like, no, we agreed that we're keeping this as a work-related issue on WhatsApp. So back you go onto WhatsApp and watching this, like, no, fair enough, this makes sense. And then people
if you say, I'm trying to get my working hours down to 60, they might sort of understand, because I'm not entirely sure when you sleep.
There are a lot of hours in a week.
Okay, wow. That's a good challenge to be overcoming.
I thought that was a fairly reasonable amount of hours for someone starting up. I take that back, never mind.
No, it's maybe just me being trying to do the mum thing at the same time.
Yeah, true that.
There's only so many it's apart from the whole mummy phone down, it's a very good way of separating, because you can't get into work early because you've got to drop them off at nursery. You have to be home at a certain time because you've got to pick them up from nursery.
True.
You have to then do certain things. You can't necessarily go to all the evening events because you need to give them their dinner, put them to bed, and it does mean I miss out on a hell of a lot of networking, but it also means it's very okay. I find I'm much more comfortable with turning up at things late, because I'm just there like, well, your networking event admittedly was an after work one, started at 6 o'clock. I can't get there till 7:30, and that's okay, because that's when I can get there, because that's how I'm managing my life. It took me a while to get to the point where I could go in and say that, and because I often turn up halfway through the talks and stand at the back, and I'm like, possibly missed something here, but it's just what you've got to do.
I mean, someone in the office yesterday came in with a wee little one, and but I was like, oh, that's really cute, and then I was like, yeah, because Dad's at work and he's multitasking, and this works. Potentially the little one is in nursery there or something, and it was that moment of, wow, that's a heck of a lot harder. My flatmates need the support, they do not need that level. At times it might feel like it. At the same time, if you ever need someone to childmind, always happy to help.
Oh, thank you. So gonna regret saying that on camera. I'm gonna just take that snippet and be like, yes, now I have a baby.
One of my mentors, who I owe a lot of my successes to, has wee ones, and over the summer holiday they came into work because daycare was closed or something, and that was a practical solution. And then I watched him on the phone trying to childmind them and have a really serious conversation. I was like, that's not working. And went over and then spent the next 3 hours playing electronics with his little one. And he kind of came through and was like, what are you doing? Do you not have work to do? Have you any idea how many hours you have given me of your time where you could have gone, you know what, I have work to do? Do you know what, playing electronics with your son for 3 hours, not even close to that. More than willing to do this. Also, your son really needs you because I'm terrible. But I'm trying. And he kept being like, but Daddy can make that. I'm sorry. Giving the instruction manual will make this work. I understand it's okay. But
oh, that's brilliant.
And very calming, probably because I was not the parent. But like playing with someone and making a light bulb go on was like life-changingly exciting for him. And it was just nice and simple and easy to do.
It's a bit Legos quite calming actually. Legos one of my cool activities that we sit, and if you ever look at my Instagram feed, it's full of Legos. I got cut off again there because I haven't put the phone on airplane mode. I will learn. I should. But so let's just do one more question, and then we'll wrap it up, because I'm conscious that we're taking time, and I've got a meeting at 10 o'clock, which is maybe who's calling me actually.
Take cool.
Yeah, go on then. We'll be back. Hello, sorry about that. Yeah, that probably breaks my record of the last time that we had so many cuts was when we were at STV, and you're in a film studio, so obviously the camera work that you have breaks every time. So that time we had like 3 different videos. This time we're gonna have 4. Woo. So yeah, I think we're just going to sum it up there. We're just going to do a close because we've had some awesome chat. Thank you so much. It has been really great chat today, and really looking forward to getting this one live this afternoon. And we'll be turning it into a podcast as well. So when I get round to it, I think I've got 4 now that need to be turned into podcasts. It's much easier just to put the video online. Turning it into a podcast takes me a bit longer. So there's 4 more to come up as podcasts soon. And next week we are joined by the wonderful Rachel Buse, who has started Alicas, which is I'm not going to say it's a charity, it is a social aim business to gift genuinely good, wearable, new tags-on clothes to women that have had to flee abusive relationships. Which is absolutely fantastic cause, and she's doing amazingly well, so it'll be fantastic to catch up with her next week, so please do tune in then. And in the meantime, keep an eye out for Lilypads when they turn up, and all of these fantastic things we're going to be doing with plastic bags. Thank you again for coming on, and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.